Thank you, friend. Shabbat Shalom, and greetings to you all. Some events stay in your mind, it seems like forever. It's been 15 years since I got to celebrate someone very dear to me, special birthday. But I remember it like it was yesterday. Where is the time and where have the years gone? Time can move very quickly. And how was your Halloween? Did you remember to set your clocks back? It certainly appears we have now set the clocks back for decades. If you weren't frightened enough, then look at the world. There's now the hunting of Jews just about in all quarters of the world. This week, swastikas were painted on a synagogue in New York. Perhaps now begins again with the hatred. If this is not stopped, and not just stopped, but stamped out, it's only going to get worse. I once thought all lives matter, but I guess that's not the case. Certainly for the last couple of years, in blatant demonstration, Jewish lives do not matter at all. Jewish people everywhere are now afraid, like they haven't been since the 1930s. Not just to go to school, but to go to work, to ride public transit, to be seen and to be known as being Jewish. Governments and countries call for and stand for the complete elimination of Israel and all Jews. And that has now become acceptable speech. The new mayor of New York, the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, has called to globalize the Intifada, pure hate speech, calling for the elimination of all Jews in Israel. Perhaps someone should be blowing a shofar. There is a great wake-up call that's desperately needed. Now this week has another dark anniversary. The anniversary of Kristallnacht, the 87th anniversary of the Night of Broken Glass, a government-sanctioned pogrom conducted on Jews on November 9th and 10th, 1938, as the Germans smashed synagogues and Jewish businesses throughout the Reich. I fear today, too many people forget the horrors of human inhumanity, of man to man, and the inhumanity is only getting worse. Too many ancient practices don't let them tell you what you want to be. Too many people hold it back. Crazy, baby, it's not like me. There's just too many turning a blind eye. Wake up, look around, take a look and see what's happening. Just the other day, Amsterdam, which about 10 or 15 years ago restarted a tradition of holding a Hanukkah concert, 70 years after the Nazis ended the long-standing tradition, in a city where they murdered three-quarters of the Dutch Jewish population. They canceled its performance. When restarted, the relaunch was billed as a chance to connect and celebrate the city's Jewish residents, a community that has never come close to its pre-Holocaust size. And the reason for the cancellation of the concert is because the singer, who was a chief cantor, has ties to the IDF, as of course does every Israeli. Now the Hanukkah Concert Foundation says this is contributing to the isolation the Jewish community feels in the current era. Even as the concert hall said, it always remains a place where the Jewish community is welcome. Not so welcome now, it appears. Dominant societies change. Friends, no empire lasts more than a few hundred years, and we are now witnessing empires turning into sand. Rule Britannia? Gone. Imperial Russia? Gone. Napoleonic France? Long gone. Colonial Spain? Gone. The Ottomans? Perhaps the longest lasting? Gone. We're in the 250th year of America, perhaps on the death throes of it as an empire. Don't forget, for passing my way, not on anything, even the score with your eyes, lovely to see you again, my friend. Walk along with me to the next day. Tell us what you see in far away, forgotten lands. Empires have turned back the same. The empires fall, and they will continue to fall. We've got to unify and get together and get past the empire stage. Now, we're also coming up on Remembrance Day in Canada and the former British Empire, Veterans Day in the good old US of A. It's time to honor the veterans who fought for the freedoms so at stake today. Honor them. Light a candle for their souls. Those are unifying times when we all come together to say thank you. We need to come together, open our eyes, unite. Just as we unite when we all gather and celebrate as a like-minded group, a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith and love, all love, as we come together as a community, a fellowship, a chabura, as we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes. It unites us all. This community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. And even though together, we're still individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her their own way, and it's encouraged that you connect in your own way. So once again, please do go ahead, invite everybody you know, physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, any way at all that we can gather. Let's gather and share. From Psalm 133, the Hine Matov, come together. Hine Matov, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. Now we support each other in this community. Let's all spread love, goodwill, fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside just a little bit of sacred time in your own sacred space to honor and converse with whatever you happen to believe in, because we all believe in something. It's part of your kavana, your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. Goodwill and intention are the roots of what you can control, of what you can correct. It is your intention that sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives. And it is goodwill, energy, light, that we send to help heal whoever you know that needs it. Healing and renewal is for everyone. Floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everyone you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The tikkun olam. That is part of our spiritual genetic makeup. And a part of the healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. They don't have to be sick. It is the prayer for the sick, but it's for those in our hearts and our minds. Let's all send energy out for people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers for those in need of assistance. We pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them. We don't know the remaining hostage bodies, but we still want them back. We want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us, and for those close to us. For Martin and Alan, for Charles, for Carson and Callie, Gabby, Luke, for Terry and Ruth, for the birthday elf, Dave, for Pam, MW and Marlu, for Shelley, Winston, Inura, for Alana, for Johnny, for dear John and Maria, for Doria, for Gloria, for Connie and Ronnie, for Tally and Maya, for Nina and Danny, for Ashley, Jeffrey, for the Torah group, for all those suffering and in need. Let's not forget to include the familiars of our lives. All of our sacred animal friends everywhere, for everyone you know in need, for the whole world, and for the ever-working, ever-trying Rosemary. We pray for those who need prayer. It is the kindness, healing, wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It just circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. Source of strength, we bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say Amen. Misha Barak, let us all have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing. which we call upon God to heal as he has healed before. Mishaberach, may he who blessed, because all healing is a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Renewal is for all. Now, this week we read the foremost reading in Judaism, Vayera, and he appeared. It's the reading that, if nothing else, sets the tone for father-son relationships that echoes through time. Us with our fathers with their fathers, our sons with us, man with God. It is a reading that has everything. And it begins with the appearance of the Lord and a couple of his messengers, who we know as angels. Genesis 18:1. And he appeared to him at the oaks of Mamre, and he was sitting at the tent entrance in the heat of the day, and he raised his eyes and saw, and here were 3 people standing over him. And he saw, and he ran towards them from the tent entrance and bowed to the ground. Who is he that appears to him? It's an amazing reading. It's purely the story of angels and God, of the great Annunciation. Go to Florence, go to the Uffizi and gaze and see the great Annunciation by Leonardo, one of the most magical paintings of all time. I know I said the Cosmic Bible ended with the Tower of Babel, but this week you will be inundated with more angels. And they're pretty cosmic than any other place in the Bible. In fact, you're going to read about so many, you're going to think they needed traffic lights on Jacob's ladder. That's only the 4th reading of the Bible. Yes, a lot happens after this, but this truly sets in motion the history and mystery of man. Last week we saw God talks to us in our dreams. He told Pharaoh about Sarah. We met an angel. As an introduction to what this reading is dominated by, angels. Just say the word, we become enamored. Who doesn't wonder who their angels are? Will we see them, hear them, feel them, know them? We probably talk to angels more than we talk to God. You know, for little things, parking spaces, for a lottery win, for love. There's no limit to our wants. We briefly met them when we met Noah and learned of the Nephilim. Then last week they were so significant with Hagar and Abraham. This week we get probably the most exposure in a short period of time, beginning with the great Annunciation of Isaac, the story of Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah, the ultimate reading in Judaism, the Akedah, the binding of Isaac. All of these are dominated by angels. The way you walk, the way you talk, I swear it would make me sing. Now we see it's God who appears to Abraham, but not alone. There were 3. The concept of angels and what they actually represent has been an ongoing debate for thousands of years. There is the belief that angels were a manifested form of God, and thereby almost impossible to know who you were talking to, who was interceding. Is Abraham meeting God, people, or angels? Several of the biblical stories involving angels contain confusions such as this. Confusions between when it is the deity and when it is the angel who is speaking or doing something. But it's confusing only so long as we imagine angels as beings who are independent or separate from God. These early biblical texts actually show us that angels are simply expressions of God's presence. The biblical conception of God is that God cannot possibly be seen by a human. A human will not see me and live. It cannot possibly contained in any known space. Now that comes later in the Bible. Took an untrodden pathways, where the swift don't win the race. As for the worthy, him to find the word of truth. Took a stranger to teach me to look into justice's beautiful face. See an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. Eye and eye in creation, where was nature? Now other honors or for games. I and I, one says to the other, oh man, sees my face, lives. Now we know that comes much later in the Bible, but it's the concept that we have. God in this conception can nonetheless make himself known to humans by a sort of emanation that's visible to human eyes. It becomes a shared existence, a concrete expression of the divine presence, which is otherwise inexpressible to human beings. But human sees when such an essence is in front of him, or looks like people, like a man. We all know people who feel they've been with God. Perhaps you have. These may be the strangers we encounter who have that profound effect on our lives, or those moments we feel at one with all. The book of Genesis is a very unique book of the Bible. It is full of these encounters. We saw earlier, God walks with man, talks with man. The interaction between God and individuals is unlike anywhere else. And usually, it is the one-on-one encounters. It's not until the Great Epiphany at Sinai that God reveals himself to a mass of people. Now, the word angel is the English version of the Greek angelos. The Hebrew was melech, whose root three letters, mem, lamed, kaf, mlk, meant messenger. Remember, all Hebrew words have a root word of just three letters. There were no vowels. Hence the similarity between so many words. The word king, malach, has the same root. The king was the political messenger of God. Now we finally settled on these cute little Cupid-looking beings as angels, cherubim. 2 weeks ago, we read about the cherubim placed at the entry to Eden to keep the displaced man from returning. And those cherubim you did not want to run into. Those sword-wielding, murderous cherubim. In some ways, an angel is an identifiable thing itself, and in some ways, it's merely a representation of divine presence in human affairs. We never really know. But does it matter? Genesis 18:10. And he said, I shall come back at the time of life, and here, Sarah, your wife, will have a son. The great annunciation. Abraham's 100, Sarah's 90. And Sarah laughed inside her and said, after I've become worn out, I might have pleasure, and my Lord is old. Who wouldn't laugh? But this is a message to all of us, that you're never too old to have pleasure in life and see great changes take place in life. When you read this, take note of the discussion about to take place. See, this parsha is about relationships between host and guest, husband and wife, father and son. But all of them are influenced by the ultimate relationship, man and his creator. God and Abraham are about to have a discussion regarding people and their morals, behaviors, attitudes. God decides to let Abraham in on what he's planning. He's sending these other two beings, these angels, to go check on Sodom. If it is God has heard, he will destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. We know the story. It's a wonderful one. And who could forget Lot's wife ignoring the order and looking back, being turned into a pillar of salt to this day. Our dipping challah in salt is a reminder of God's word, its strength and gifts and power, and not to look back. Not to the past, my friends, but to look instead to the future. But I want to jump ahead to the miracle birth. Again, there's so much in these first 4 or 5 parts of the Torah. Genesis 21:2. And Sarah became pregnant, gave birth to a son for Abraham in his old age at the appointed time that God had spoken. And it was after these things God tested Abraham, and he said to him, Abraham. And he said, I'm here. Now what's interesting is the Greek and Samaritan versions have his name called twice here. Abraham, Abraham, not just Abraham. And we spoke about the double name calling formula. I mentioned it last week. You're going to see it used in key places. It is the life-defining moment whenever it occurs. he's now going to be told to sacrifice this son. Genesis 22:2. And he said, take your son, your only one, whom you love, Isaac. Go to the land of Moriah. Make him a burnt offering there, on one of the mountains that I'll say to you. I was fortunate. I took that same journey. I walked that same path, and I looked out and I saw what Abraham saw. This marks the near sacrifice as a defining moment in Abraham's life and in the destiny of his descendants. Abraham is being directed to one of the most famous places in the world. I still remember how I was fortunate enough to have spent so much time looking out at it every morning. It was magical. And we talked last week about Midrashim, the stories that explain. And there's a fantastic Midrash tale about the conversation between God and Abraham here concerning the sacrifice, and the missing parts of the conversation are filled in. It was the Torah commentator Rashi who wrote this brilliant analysis of this and filled in the missing pieces. It's really quite clever. And it's a parallel to the Lech Lecha journey that we read about last week. Pack up, go to a place I'll tell you. He's only got one son now. The other was sent off to die in the desert. So Abraham has to give up the only child he has and probably ever will have. So what does he do? The man who bargained with God over strangers in Sodom. Nothing. He meekly obeys. We saw the mark of Noah was faith. He built the box. The mark of Abraham's personality is obedience. He's going to obey anything that his God commands him to do. Leave your land, leave your birthplace, leave your father's house. Circumcise yourself, your son, your household. Circumcise your new son at 8 days old. Each of these he does. Even if he is commanded to sacrifice his child, he's going to do it. There's no arguments or even questions. He hears the voice of God and follows. We all hear the voice of God, but most of us ask for ID. When it's not presented, we ignore it. Abraham argued with God over the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, but not over the sacrifice of his own son. God said to Abraham, his son. Abe said, man, it must be putting me off. God said, no. Abe said, what? God said, you can do what you want, but next time you see me coming, you better run. Abe says, what do you want this killing done? God set out on Highway 16. Genesis 22:10. Abraham put out his hand and took the knife to slaughter his son. And an angel of the Lord, a messenger of the Lord, called to him from the skies and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, I'm here. And he said, don't put your hand out toward the boy. Don't do anything to him. This marks not just the most significant reading in the Bible, but the permanent history of one of the most important relationships on earth, father and son. For Abraham, it was life-defining, but what about Isaac? His name's never called, but this is the defining moment in his life. He was different. He did not choose the events of his life. They were done to him. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace, freedom for everyone. An end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together. We celebrate with each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let's all send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive. Learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life and tell those you love that you love them. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion all that happens in our lives. It's our intention, our kavan, our cause, our effect. Everything's linked. You always have time to forgive and be forgiven. You have that knowledge of what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged as forgiveness. But do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate. The secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? Because if you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance does bring. So keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love, because it's always in front of you. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart. Quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness, in your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all circumstances. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone's always there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief and what they mean to you. And never accept shame as a natural state, because whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you have experienced, others have too. And everybody feels shame. But we share together. We learn together. We help each other. Each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. It's what we do. We all have or could have a special someone in our lives, so find them. Tell them what they mean. Because you're never alone on your journey. Listen to the voice of God as he talks to you. Remember, your connection to God and all that's been created, in body and soul and mind and spirit, it's all a part of you. It's a part of me. It's a part of every one of us together forever. The great Roman poet Virgil wrote, "Fugit in reparabile tempus." It escapes irretrievable time, which we've simply simplified to tempus fugit. Time flies. And boy, does it ever. But one thing that time does not change is the relationship between Father and Son, between God and man. It has been going on forever. It's not time to make a change. Just relax. Take it easy. You're still young. It's your fault. There's so much you have to know. Find a girl. Settle down. If you want to, you can marry. Look at me. I'm old, but I'm happy. All the times that I've cried, keeping all the things I knew inside. It's hard, but it's harder to ignore it. If they were right, I'd agree. But it's them they know, not me. Now there's a way, and I know that I have to go away. I know I have to go. Fathers and sons, thank you for joining me. Have a great week. I'll see you all soon. I hope you all continue to celebrate all of the miracles of life. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.